I didn't say anything. I just testing. Well, it is good to be in church, guys. Always good to be in church. I tell this every place I go. Of course, everything I say, I tell her where I go. But you ever make a bad decision? You know, it doesn't always have to be a life changer. You know, like you pull into the line at the toll booth that you think is going to move, and the guy reaches out with a handful of change and it all falls on the road. And you got 3 cars behind you, and you're going to be there for all day. Or you go to Walmart. Now, I'm going to tell the ladies here. Ladies, this will buckle the knees of the strongest man you know. Pull out your change purse when you're in the line. Man, I mean, I'm standing behind this woman, and she pulls out her change purse to pay, and then decides she found a penny she wants to keep. And she, no. I want to throw the money. Here, pay, and just keep the change. Get the woman out of my way. I mean, my wife pulls out her change purse, and I just cringe. I really do. I can feel the hair growing out of my face. I never feel it growing out of my head. But what I'm saying, you say, well, yeah, you know, I make, or you know, you go to the restaurant and you order the only thing on the menu that died in vain. You say, yeah, preacher, I make some bad decisions. Okay, let me tell you how you can always make a good one. Go to church. Amen. Think about this. Every time you go to church, you made a good decision. Amen. That's pretty good, isn't it? And I don't think you ought to be here. You know, your pastor, we got this meeting. I don't think you ought to be here because I'm here. I really don't. I think you should be here because this is your church, and the doors are open, the lights are on, and you should come. And if you can't come, at least send your money. All right. Proverbs chapter 25. Proverbs chapter 25. It is the last verse. Guys, and I'll probably say something about this week, about reading the Bible, because I always say something about reading the Bible, because I think you ought to read the Bible. I just don't think God wrote a book that he wants you to leave on your coffee table or whatever, you know, whatever people do with them. So I think you ought to read it. And one of the things I recommend is a proverb for the date. You should have read this one a few days ago, 25. And the last verse says this: he that hath no rule over his own spirit is a city that is broken down and without walls. Let's bow our heads. Let's talk to the Lord. Father, it's good to be saved. And God, it really is always good to be saved. And Father, these people, they probably see things going on in this country. They don't like what they see. I don't like what I see. I don't like what our future may be. I don't like that we're still here. I'd like to have been out of here by now. But Lord God, I know that this book is right. I know that it's going to go just like we've heard. I know that you're going to come back and get us out of here. I know that this book is preserved. Every word that you were so kind is to give us every single word. We thank you so much. And God, we are still free to come to church. So God bless these people because they did make a good decision today. There is somebody here, I'll guarantee you, God, there is somebody here that really thought about not coming because they didn't feel good, because they're upset with you or somebody else or whatever, but they came. Bless them. Bless them for showing up. But also, God, I pray that they're blessed just by being here. Something will be said that would edify them, that they, being edified, would then live to your glory. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen. Now it says here, he that is without, hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls. Guys, in Bible days, a wall was a good thing. Yeah, I wouldn't go to a church that said we're breaking down walls. Really, well, we're here to break down walls. Hey, guys, let me ask you something. I'm all for putting them up. I think of one wall that would go along the border of Texas, Arizona, New Mexico. I'm all for that one. But guys, walls are good. And in Bible days, you had not just you had just have nations and city-states that were fighting each other. You just have a bunch of rebels, and they come into place and kill everybody and rob them. And so if you put up a wall, it was a good thing. A wall kind of protected you. I believe this. When it says, hath no rule over his own spirit, we have got a nation. We have got about 3 or 4 generations of people in this country who have been taught to never rule over their own spirit. If anything is wrong with our country, it is that since about 1960s, we've got people that are told anything you do is okay. You can say anything, you can do anything. You are the most important person on the planet. No, you're not. It's probably a great thing, to find out, a grievous thing for some folks to find out it's not all about them. I came into this church and this woman was upset because the church had done something horrible. They'd painted the bathrooms and didn't check with her on what color she wanted them. Can you believe that? And she said, and they didn't even ask me what I thought. And I said, well, maybe they didn't care. You know that, really? You know that thought was never one of her thoughts? I mean, she thought they should care, they should check, or somebody else, wanted them that color, and so they didn't dare ask because she never thought for a second that somebody didn't care. You know, in some of the public schools, they're singing, I am the most important person I know. Let me tell you this. You heard this, when this guy occupied the White House, he had his bailout, and there were a bunch of executives that paid themselves bonuses instead of using the money to help their company. And people condemned them. I don't condemn them. I didn't say they're not wrong. They are definitely wrong. I said I don't condemn them. You know why? Because that's a generation that from this big wore a shirt that said it's all about me. From this big, they were told they're a champion. You're special. You count. Nobody should ever tell you no. You should be allowed to do anything you want and say anything you want and go any place you want. And you're that important. Well, guys, when you're brought up your whole life being told, I'm the most important person I know, and then your company gets enough money to either help the company or write you a check, you write you a check. Because they have no rule over their own soul, over their own spirit. So I'm going to talk to you about a strange subject. You say, having rule over your own spirit. I'm going to talk to you about losing weight. You say, why? Because I did. But I'm going to explain it. It was that verse, all right? Let me tell you about it. I was here in May. Last time I was here in May of 2010. And I was overweight, and I didn't care, okay? I really didn't care. Here's how I think. Number one, I wasn't, believe it or not, in bad health. You say, well, your neck is broke. My neck is broke. My neck is a mess. I tell people I'm in bad shape. I'm not in bad health. There's a vast difference. Bad shape, I can't lift anything. I can't carry anything. You heard about those two guys at work. They were talking. One fellow said, hey, did you hear about Bill? Got him a remote for his TV. His buddy said, that's the day I'll be too lazy to tell my wife or daughter to get over there and change the station. They're just a depth of laziness you just cannot stoop to, okay? But I wasn't, there's things I can't do because my neck is a piece of junk and they're still chasing me with scalpels and wanting to do terrible things to it. But I'm not in bad health. Let me tell you what happened. I was in a motel, one of the filthiest motels I have ever been in. You say, why were you there? Because that's where the preacher put me, and I knew if I checked out, it'd be, oh, look, the snob wouldn't stay in the Hindu Hilton. And I had to do traction. I had to do traction on my neck. I laid down on the floor of that motel for 20 minutes. I laid down fine. I got up coughing. I've been coughing for 10 years. I got something inside my lungs that can't get out. Don't tell me the magic. I know you got the magic. Yeah, you got the answer because you've never had this. And if you don't have it, you definitely got the answer. But I've done doctors, I've done natural, and I think it's oxygen that causes it. If I just quit breathing, I don't think it'll happen. And I was coughing, and I'm having lunch with a preacher, and I'm just coughing. I'd cough myself dizzy. For 5 years, I coughed, and finally, we got done eating, and he said, I got a doctor's appointment after lunch. You want to go with me? I thought, what has happened to life? What happened to having lunch with somebody, and they said, I'm going golfing after lunch. Want to go with me? You want to go? I'm going to be embalmed right after lunch. Would you like to come? We'll wheel you in. And you say, that's terrible. No, what's terrible is I said, yes. And so I go in this doctor, he's from his church, and he says, well, what does your blood work say? I said, I don't know, never had it done. He goes, you need to have it done. I said, no, I don't need to have it done. He said, well, I'm going to do it. Well, I'm still one of those idiots that if a doctor says he's going to do it, you let him do it. And so he ran all these tests. He ran a sonogram of the arteries here. He ran blood work. He did everything. He looked for roots for my hair. And but this guy said, I'm going to do a full workup on you. And here's what I heard. This will be the end of life as you know it. all right? I mean, what this guy is going to tell me when this is all over, it is going to shatter me. So he gets done with his test, and he says, call me in a week, I'll tell you how it turned out. So 3 weeks later, he called me. So I'm safe, man. 3 weeks, I'm in another state. Anyway, he said, you forgot to call me. I said, I forget to call you. I didn't forget to call you. I didn't. I said, no man seeks what you're about to tell me. Well, he started telling me, you cannot believe this stuff this guy said. He said, no cholesterol, no buildup in the arteries, no PSA, no sugar, no high blood pressure, all the stuff that you're supposed to have. I'm fine. Now, I do know sometimes they switch and get somebody else's records by accident. That might have happened because he also said I was pregnant. But, but I'd take that to the truth. I figure I'll sell my story to the Star or the National Enquirer, I'll be a millionaire. But, so I'm not, in fact, the only person more shocked than me was him, okay, or him than me. But so I'm not in bad health, but I was in bad shape. So I didn't care. I didn't have to, I could do anything I wanted. I didn't care about being overweight. I had a woman. We've been married 43 years. I'm telling you, that lady put up with a lot. I told Kathy, if you ever divorce me, I'm going to testify in your behalf. I said, nobody knows what you've been through like I do. I'm going to tell the judge, okay, give it all to her, man. She deserves it. But so I wasn't after anything. I didn't care. I was overweight. I didn't care. People said something about it. I didn't care. And so that was that. You say, well, what happened? I say it this way. I was aware that I was heavy. I didn't care. You say, well, that's an awful way to be. Well, what's in your life that you're aware of that ought not to be there? I mean, for me, it was real easy to see. I just looked in a mirror. So what'd you do? Quit looking in the mirror. See how easy that was? I knew when I saw this much of me. Yeah? And I didn't care. You say, what happened? I got on a scale. I got on a scale 4 times. And every time it went up a few pounds. Every time, it was never the same, and it was never lower. I got on here, and it went up to here, went up to here, went up to here. I knew I was in trouble when I got on the scale, and a little sign came up and said, one of you will have to get off. But it was not even how heavy I was. It was the process I saw, and the process I saw was, I am getting heavier. Guess what number 5 is going to be? It's going to be more. Number 6 is going to be more. Number 7 is going to be more. And so I had been aware. I didn't care, but I was willing to care. I was willing to be willing. Okay, I didn't want to lose weight. Didn't care about it, but I told the Lord this. I prayed. That's a mistake sometimes. And I told the Lord this. I will go on a diet. Never been a diet in my life. I said I will go on a diet if a doctor tells me to go on a diet. But I'm not going to the doctor. Well, I had no reason to go to the doctor. I mean, if I'd have got hit by a car that afternoon, he said, just a little bruise in your knee, but you ought to lose weight. That would have been good enough for me. I told the Lord, if a doctor tells me to lose weight, I'm going to lose weight, but I don't have any reason to go to the doctor, so that's that. 2 weeks later, I got an email from a doctor. 35 years ago, he was one of my young people. I was his youth director. He's now a doctor in Texas, and he wrote me out of the blue, and he said, me and my wife just lost a bunch of weight. I want you to lose weight too. You say, oh, that's terrible. No. Come on, guys. How many times you prayed and said, I didn't hear from God? Ain't it nice to hear from God? But let me get something straight. See, you better get this straight too. You keep saying, God, tell me what to do, tell me what to do, tell me what to do. Then he tells you what to do. Speak to me. Then when he speaks, you go, I don't like what you said. Tell me what you want me to do. He tells you. You got a second choice. Right? That one's, we're out of that one, We don't have it on the menu. It's on the menu, but we don't have it. Guys, and so I lost weight. Now, I'll tell you what I went on. I went on the Atkins diet. Don't come and tell me what's wrong with the Atkins diet, because you're Christians. I know about Christians. Here's how, no matter what you do, a Christian can always tell you why it's bad. I'm standing back there, shaking hands to this church, and I lost this weight. 62 pounds is what I lost. And so this lady comes by, and she goes, you lost weight, didn't you? I said, yes, ma'am, 62 pounds. She goes, well, good for you. She goes, what did you do? I said, the Atkins diet. Oh. I mean, you know, it's not like it's, what is it? You go to the bar and drink whiskey? That's the Atkins diet? Maybe she had something else in mind. I mean, really, you know, I mean, what is the Atkins diet? And she began to tell me all the bad things about the Atkins diet. I said, lady, I said, I lost 60 pounds. Oh, yes, but, and she kept going on about the Atkins diet. I said, lady, I lost 60 pounds. Oh, yes. I said, should I put it back on? Put it back where I found it. You know, I lost it. I better get it back, put it on, because this woman's upset because I lost it on the Atkins diet. Guys, I was aware I didn't care. You know what this meeting is about? This meeting is about what are you aware of in your life that you know you'd be better if you took care of it. Amen. But you don't care. It's not that you don't know, you just don't care. You know, here's what I've found, people. I found there are a lot of Christians that want something different in their life. They want their life to be different. They're not willing to change. I'm talking to somebody. I wanted to be less, okay? You know, like I say, you get on a scale and it says, you know, one at a time, please. But I wanted to be lighter. I just didn't care. And with that diet, I lost the weight. I went on the Atkins diet. I lost 12 pounds the first week, 8 pounds the second week, about 2 or 3 pounds every week after that. You say, now I tell people, now look, and I don't preach it. I don't preach you ought to lose weight. You know, here's what's wrong with this. If any of us do anything we think is right, we have to tell everybody else they got to do it. Amen. And I don't care. I don't care if you, look, if they roll you in this room, I don't care. If you say, I'm thinking about losing weight, I would say, look this over. And you go do some other diet, that's fine. Choose, you know, you eat the 8 pork chop a day diet, I don't care. It was either the Atkins diet or the Tijuana diet. I was going to be one of those two. The Tijuana diet, that's where you go to Mexico and drink the water. Trust me, you'll think you're never going to stop losing weight. So I went on this Atkins diet. I have a guy says, I want to lose weight. I said, well, try the Atkins diet. He goes, isn't that the one where you don't eat potatoes? I said, yeah. He goes, I like potatoes too much. I said, well, then there's another option. He said, what? I said, be fat. Well, I mean, really, I like potatoes. Okay. I said, I quit drinking beer, but I like the taste of beer. Well, then keep drinking beer. Guys, when I quit drinking beer, to this day, you know, I quit when I got saved 45 years ago. For all I know, I might still like the taste. I didn't quit because I didn't like the taste anymore. I quit because a Christian shouldn't. Oh, somebody just went, really? Guys, I just quit eating what I liked. It's real easy. Diets are real easy. Think of everything you like, you can't eat that. You just chew on styrofoam. That does 2 things. Number one, there's no calories in it, and it gets rid of all that excess styrofoam. But I had to quit using sugar. Now, I'm sorry, guys. I know somebody, well, that's good, because sugar is the great white dope. I don't think so. I don't think sugar is the great white dope. I think Joe Biden is the great white dope. Okay? If you have any doubt, just listen to him talk. Only takes about 3 seconds. He can prove it. I had a guy come up to me one time after a service. I was talking about one of life's perils. I don't know if you've ever experienced this. I've experienced this many times, especially being a Baptist preacher. Glaze withdrawal. That ranks just below pepperoni withdrawal, if you know what I mean. Glaze withdrawal. You get that on a donut. The only way it grows on donuts. And I was someplace and I said something about I'd been suffering from glaze withdrawal. And now, this guy walks up to me. You know how you know you're in trouble? When they're talking to you and looking through you. You know, could I ask you a question? Which I thought that was a pretty good question. And he said, yeah, go. He goes, well, you talked about sugar like it's good to eat. I said, well, I tried smoking it once, pal. That didn't work. It melts down, burns your lip bad. And he goes, well, he says, sugar is just dope. I quit eating sugar, and it cleared up half my mind. And somehow I think all of you thought the same thing that I thought. Like, you better go check your menu and find out what you got to quit for the other half. Because this guy ain't all the way across the river, okay? And then I started using it instead of sugar. I started using sweet and low. Yeah, you know, the ones in the pink. Oh, that's what's wrong. It's the pink one. It's the pink one. I'm having lunch with this guy, and this guy goes, and he saw I was using those, and he said, why are you using that? And I said, because I don't use sugar anymore. He goes, now, Christian, I don't care what you do. There's a Christian to tell you why it's wrong. And he goes like this, well, that kills brain cells. I've heard that. I said, yeah, I've heard that. But I said, I monitor myself very closely. And if reality TV ever gets interesting to me, I will know I've killed enough brain cells. When I say I just can't wait to see Storage Wars, pal, I'm back to sugar. Back to sugar. I'm sorry, guys. You're watching reality TV and you think it's real. This really happened. I am with a pastor. We're driving down a road and went past a storage place. He said, you know what that is? I said, yeah, it's a storage place. He goes, no. He goes, that's the storage place. I said, what's the storage place? He goes, that's the one where they do Storage Wars. I said, really? I mean, I don't watch it. And he said, yeah. He said the whole thing's a fraud. He said they rent an empty unit. They bring in their treasures. They bring in a bunch of junk. They hide the treasures, whatever the great items are. They bring in their 3 or 4 prominent bidders. They get a bunch of walk-ons from the street, probably from across the street, the donut shop, practicing glazed withdrawal. And I tell people that, you wouldn't believe how people are heartbroken to find out that reality TV isn't real. I mean, hey, when you can't trust your TV anymore, I mean, really, what's left? Everything's a war. I saw this one, again, I don't watch it, but I saw a commercial where I was going through someplace and I saw a thing, tow truck wars. Now, to me, tow truck wars is where you go, boom, boom, till one of them can't anymore. This guy, he hooks this car up, he's about to pull off, and here come these 4 Mexican gangbangers. Got the little strap T-shirts, short knee-length baggy pants, you know, and the guy comes and says, hey, put down my car. Well, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm supposed to tow it away. And no, man, you're not taking my car. Put the car down. Well, no, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to get it. He goes, no, put down the car. Well, the guy's not going to put down the car. And so the guy walks off, and he comes back with a nickel-plated 9mm pistol, because the nickel-plated, that shows up better on TV. And he's got this 9mm. It's like this. You can see he's got his hand on the gun. The gun is right here. He goes, don't make me do this the hard way. And I want to tap him on the shoulder and say, hey, bud, you see all those lights? That is not a 747 landing. You see about the 35 people standing by the lights? They're all watching you. You're on television. This guy didn't know he was on TV. Now, I guarantee you some mouth-breathing Christian was probably watching that episode and going, oh, he's going to shoot him. It's TV. And I'm telling you guys, if reality TV ever gets interesting to me, man, I'll take sugar, I'll take drugs. But guys, I was willing, what happened was I was willing to change. That was the difference. I didn't care. I was aware as heavy. I didn't care. The change came, not when I took the diet. No. The change came when I said, I'm willing. Amen. I said, I am willing to change if somebody tells me to. And 2 weeks later, I heard from the Lord. And then but here's the problem, guys. When you hear from the Lord, you better do it. Amen. You say, well, so what happened? I changed. I quit, here's what I quit. I quit orange juice. I love orange juice. I love orange juice. I love potatoes. I don't know if you can cook a potato in a bad way. If somebody made up a brand new way, it still probably tastes good. Everything about a potato tastes good. I love a potato. These guys, I like potatoes too much. Oh, what? I'm not allowed to. I love potatoes. I think the greatest thing ever happened to potatoes was the chip. And I don't even have convictions about potato chips. Well, we have convictions. Yeah, we have potato chips, but they're deep fried. There's not even potatoes in them. It's made out of sawdust. I mean, really. We have junk food that people have to have conviction over their junk food. The lost world has convictions over junk food. I just eat chips. I don't eat chips, but I did. I like cashews. My favorite nut was a cashew. I told you I like sugar. I don't know. I haven't inventoried. I don't know if they make a candy bar that I don't like. There's nothing about it. Just if it's candy, how can it be bad? So I quit my unrestrained eating. Sometimes, guys, it's not what you eat, it's just that you eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. Now, I have to admit, there are some people that have a metabolism. They could eat a cow and not gain weight. I got a brother-in-law. My wife, the whole family loves him. I think he still wears the same size clothes he wore when he graduated from high school. Because he weighed 800 pounds in high school. But no, he is slim and trim. I remember one time we're together for Thanksgiving. He was on his 5th plate of food. He's the only guy sitting at the table, and the ladies started picking it up, and he's eating his 5th plate of food, and he's going, like, but he never gains weight. And there are people like that. We're not all like that, bucko. Amen. And some of it is just you go to the buffet, and you buffet, and buffet, and buffet. I just quit. I quit my unrestrained eating. I went on the diet. I'll tell you what else I did. I didn't cheat. You know what I really believe? What I really believe is that most diets will do what they're supposed to do. Oh, no, because I went on this one. Yeah, and you said one cookie won't hurt. That's called cheating. I didn't cheat. Guys, if I saw a great cinnamon roll, you know what I said? I have tasted that. I know what it tastes like, and I will taste it again. But right now, we're losing weight. You say, what are you saying? You have to have rule over your spirit. Can I tell you that there may be some things out in that world that are sinful, that if you went and did them, you'd have a great time? But that is not how we should do it. Amen. Isn't that right? Because we are not the judge of why things are done. It's not all about us. It is all about Him. Amen. So what did I do? I took some things out of my life. I added some things into my life. In place of cashews and chips, I eat almonds. Almonds is the best nut there is for carbs. It's carbs I got to watch. And so I can eat. You say, well, how do you like almonds? I like them now. If I have something where you just want the salty snack, instead of chips, I have almonds. Instead of cashews, I have almonds. Yeah, I still eat chips. Yeah, I still eat almonds. I still eat pizza. Had it yesterday while I watched Out of State. And had a bag of Lay's potato chips. Yes. And I weigh 900 pounds today. But you aren't going to believe this. Do you know what I started the day I went on my diet? I started eating broccoli. Sad. I don't like broccoli. Neither did I. But now nothing else I'm allowed to eat. But it's okay. When I go to the restaurant, I just tell them, steam it like you hate it. You people have to have crunchy vegetables. You can have mine. I said, my doctor will not allow me to have anything with any food value. Okay? I want to see, you're boiling all the good things out of it. I don't care. There's still some things I don't care about, and the food value of broccoli is one of them. So then why are you eating it? It's a filler. It's keeping me from going back for more ham, okay? But I started eating broccoli. I don't know if you realize this, but the Atkins diet has candy bars. They got M&Ms, bag of M&Ms, 1 carb. I can still enjoy some things that I enjoyed before I went on the diet, but I just made some changes. Guys, you know why you are not going to change some things in your life? Because you don't want to change anything. I will guarantee you there's somebody here, there is something in your life, and I am not necessarily I'm definitely not talking about your weight, and I'm probably not talking about sin. I am talking about something that is in your life that you know you would be better if you would make the change. You have been as aware of your problem as I was aware of mine. Amen. And you haven't had the Spirit to rule over your own spirit, the power to rule over your own spirit. And you are aware, but you don't care. Now, please understand, if you think you don't care, I'm above you on that. I don't care. I mean, even more so. You know why? Because if it is a problem, you know, when I was heavy, if you didn't care, I was the one that was going to get diabetes. Come on. So you didn't have to worry about it. If I'm going to be irresponsible before God, then I'm going to pay for it. And if there's something in your life, and I am not talking about sin. But if there's something in there and you're aware of it, you know what you need to do? You say, you just need to be willing to be willing. I got on the scale. Now, I'll make an adjustment here in a minute, and I'll tell you why. But I got on a scale, I was 228 pounds. That was the high of the 4, 228 pounds. I went on the Atkins diet, and I went down to 166 pounds. I told Kathy, I said, I will never get down to 180. She said, yes, you will. Guys, I shot through 180 like a train that didn't stop at the station. It just went 180. And then it was 175 and 170. And at 170, we shut the engine down and I let it coast to a stop at 166. Now, here's what I did. I got rid of all my clothes and bought a whole new wardrobe. Then I got rid of all of those 3 months later and got another one. Now, I'm sitting there, let's say it's just too much. Hey, any excuse will do when you don't plan on changing. Whatever it is you want to do, I'm not a rich evangelist, buy brand new clothes. Hey, whatever you want, I don't care. If you want to use me for your excuse to keep something in your life that isn't doing you any good, I really don't care. You can blame me all day long, but I don't think it'll hold water in front of God. Amen. So I got rid of everything I had, and I got a whole new wardrobe, and then I got rid of those, and at 166, everything I had was big for me. We're going to the third one. At this point, I told Kathy, I said, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to go up to 170. And I'm going to hold between 170 and 175 because I can wear what I'm wearing at 170. It was economic, all right? And so I went up to 170 and stayed there. Now, it was after that, and here's the adjustment. It was after that we got rid of the scales, you know, where you put, this rock is 5 pounds, put over here. This rock is 2 pounds. No. And we got a digital scale. And when I found out my scale was wrong by 4 pounds. My scale was 4 pounds heavy. I wasn't 228, I was 232. I didn't stop at 166, I actually stopped at 170. I didn't know that. Which meant when I went up to 170, I actually went up to 174, which meant that I was in a holding pattern between 170 and 175. Instead, I am in a holding pattern between 174 and 179. I even thought about going down to 170 and then do the 170, 175 thing. I can't get it past 174. I did one time, I got one down to 173. You say, why? I set my brain to lose the weight. Amen. And once I lost it, I unset it. Then I reset it to keep it off. This is where, I will say this about losing weight. People lose weight, and then they lose weight and they go like this. Here's how I was eating, and I was maintaining this too much weight. So if I lose weight down to my target, then I can just go back to eating like I was, and I'll maintain it down here. It don't work that way. And it was when I lost the weight, I told Kathy, I said, babe, I got a feeling that there's a whole other issue, and this one's going to be the whole life. Because in 6 months, my weight was gone. But that was 6 years ago, 5 years ago. And you have to maintain it. What that means is now it is a life's change. Now, here's another way I looked at it. I was 60 when I lost the weight. And I said, you know, I have eaten for 60 years anything I wanted to and never cared and never thought about it. You people that worry about everything you eat, I feel sorry for you. I really, I just don't worry about it. But I said, now I'm doing something different. Now I have to care. So now I care. So now it is not, I'm not trying to lose weight, I'm trying to be vigilant. You say, why? Because I don't want that back in. How many people do you know that lost weight and then gained it back and lost weight and gained it back and lost weight and gained it back? I'm not saying anything bad about them. I'm glad they lost it. I think what they did is they missed that it's a whole different program to keep it off. I will say this, it's much more lenient. I told you when I was on the diet, I never cheated. In the time that I was on that diet to lose the weight, I never ate one potato chip. Bet you can't eat one. That's right. I couldn't eat one, let alone not two. I didn't have a cookie. I didn't have anything. Were you tempted? No, I looked at it, I told you. I looked at it, I said, man, I've tasted that. I will taste it again, but right now we're doing this. That's exactly what I did. Now, yesterday I did. I had one of the little bags of potato chips, 17 carbs. I figure this is my standard. You know what my standard unit measure is? A hamburger bun. A hamburger bun is 20 carbs. I gauge everything by a hamburger bun. Okay, so that's my dollar. That's my absolute value. And so I figure if I can eat a bag of chips and it's less than a hamburger bun, I'm okay. For that time, I ate the burger without the bun. Now I do. I'd have the burger. I'd go to the fast food place. I'd have the burger, and I'd have a salad instead of the fries. You say, well, I could never do that. There was a day when I said I could never do that. Probably the biggest change was going from regular Coke to Diet Coke. You know, I used to laugh like everybody else. Oh, look, you order the double Whopper and the large fry, and then you get a Diet Coke, and save yourself 75 carbs. All those diets have 0 carbs, and I'm ducking 75. They say you can have 90 carbs a day. That means if you have 2 Cokes, you went way past what you can have for the day. And so I'm not telling you to lose weight. What I'm telling you is, number one, you have got to be willing to be willing. Then, when you see it, you got to do it. Because you dare not ask God something. You know what some of you have done? You ask God something about your life. You ask for some guidance. You ask for him to show you something or give you something. And then when he did it, you know what you thought? You counted the cost and said, I can't go without potatoes. I can't go without sugar. I can't go without this. I can't go without that. There's one time I eat sugar. I eat sugar at one time. You know what I do? We go to the Chinese buffet, and them little donuts that they put sugar on, they don't put near enough sugar on those. And I put sugar. Say why? I'm working toward storage wars. But and then the second thing was, I made a change in my life. Now you think about that process in your life. I told you, I don't believe this. I don't believe everybody here needs to lose weight. I am not preaching about that. And I'm not talking about sin. I am saying there are people here, you know what you have wanted? You have wanted your life to be different. You have wanted it to be different. I wish I could read my Bible. I just don't. Maybe that's it. Well, I wish I wouldn't do this, but see, I'm just saying, everybody here wants something. You're just not willing to make the change. Amen. I didn't want to be heavy. I was aware of it. I just didn't care enough to do anything about it. And then when it got up to the 4th time, and when I saw 228, and I thought, boy, the next one's going to be 230 something and 240. My dad was the same height as me, and he got up to over 300 pounds. He was 285 in his prime. And I thought, hey, you know what happened when I lost weight? I will tell you 2 things that happened. My feet got bigger. I don't know how going on a diet makes your feet bigger, because now when I look down, I can see them. And my arms got longer. Because when I hug my wife, instead of this, it's this. So there's some upsides to losing weight. But guys, here's what I'm asking. What do you know about in your life? Now, say this again. It's not about weight loss, and it's not about sin. Maybe for you, it is about weight loss. Maybe for you, it is about sin, okay? But that's not what I'm shooting at. What is it in your life that you say, yeah, I ought to do that? Amen. Yeah, I ought to make a change. You have said it time and time and time again. You've never, ever done it. I'm not calling you a name. You know what your problem is? You're not willing to be willing. You are aware and you do not care. Can you care enough to be willing? If you could care enough, I'm not trying to get you to do anything except say one thing. Say the same thing to the Lord that I said. If you want me to go on a diet, have a doctor tell me. Oh, just in case. I'm a doctor. So if you're saying, well, you've just been told. You got your prescription, whether you never filled it or not, I don't care. I saw nothing spiritual in my weight loss. I saw nothing spiritual in it. Look, I am not more godly because I lost weight. I am not holier than anybody else. I am not better than anybody else. I just got rule over my spirit. I saw nothing in it. My wife saw something in it. You know when the Lord spoke? She said, do you know when the Lord spoke to you about losing weight? I can remember, it was exactly 5 years ago. I said, yeah, it was November 2010. That's when I prayed it, and 2 weeks later the email came, and I went on that diet 5 years ago right now. She said, 2010, November, right? Yeah. She said, what was 2011? I said, that was the year comes right after 2010. Don't doubt that I got it, babe. Anyway, she said 2011 was the 400th anniversary of the King James Bible. Guys, you know that during the 200th anniversary of the King James Bible, or 400th anniversary of the King James Bible, I did no less than 14 King James 400th anniversary seminars, one of them in England. And she said, you get up there and say something about the King James Bible, and the people that hate it and hate you say something, we can't even control his diet. Amen. There's a guy on the internet, he's got a picture of me, and it's before I lost weight, and he says, he says something about, well, you ought to get some control about eating. And I didn't check him. He said, well, did you tell him you lost weight? No, I don't care what he thinks. Amen. Really, I don't care. If he's watching lately, he knows. And if he's not, but look, if I told him I lost weight, he'd say, okay, but I still hate you. Right? So look, if you're going to live to the people that hate you, you're nuts. If you're going to try to answer your critics, you're out of your mind. You're going to waste your time, spin your wheels, and accomplish nothing, because you can't make somebody hate you stop hating you anyway. All right? And I don't think you ought to do anything for people. I think you ought to do it for God. And so I said, Lord, 5 years ago, I said, Lord, I will go on a diet if a doctor tells me. I finally cared, not enough to do it, but enough to be willing to do it. And 2 weeks later, I heard from God. And then it was, okay, kid, now put your belly where your mouth is. This morning, I was 177.8. You say, are you up? Absolutely. Yeah, because I had pizza and potato chips to watch because that's kind of a religious service. And you say, what do? I will dial it back. I will dial it back. I haven't been over 179 since I did. I have gone away from the scales for 6 weeks where I could not weigh myself every morning and came back having lost weight. Amen. So I told you. And here's the thing. Then this is the other side of it. I tell somebody I lost weight on the Atkins diet, and then I'll have a roll where I'd eat, and they go, you're not allowed to have that. I said, I'm not on the Atkins diet. I said, I was. I said, now I operate loosely on it. So what's loosely? I want the roll. Pretty good definition, right? But you see what I'm saying? You know what we are geared at? We are geared at always showing somebody that they are wrong. Look, don't go to anybody after hearing this and say, see, you need to lose weight. You heard it. No, don't do that. If you are overweight, I am not telling you to lose weight. What I'm saying, I'm going to say this one more time and I'm going to be done. What is it in your life that you would say, I probably need to make that change right there? And I've known it for a long time. I'm not going to browbeat you. I'm not going to intimidate you. I'm not going to guilt trip you. I'm going to ask you a question. You've already known it. You were aware, but you didn't care. I'm not even judging you for that. I was aware for years. I just didn't care. The question is this: can you care enough to be willing? Can you care enough to pray this prayer? Lord, I'm willing to change this if you'll tell me. I don't think that's unreasonable. But the problem is that then if he tells you, you got to make the change. I'd like you to stand with your heads bowed. Your heads bowed, your eyes closed. Is there anybody, and I'm not trying to, again, guys, I'm not trying to